Previously on Ballz.
We're down to the second half of Tour de France rest day today, and what has been a very eventful tour, Phil G. I mean, crashes all over the place, and in and amongst that, I think let's just kick off there and see what it means. Lance Armstrong, the debate and the discussion goes on there as well while the tour is going on, and a US court has thrown out his application to have the USADA investigation up or sort of stopped, based on obviously, based on what? Hello, Phil, are you there?
Well, based on lots to put a sort of ask for an injunction. Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah, we can. We got
can
you again.
Me?
Yeah, we got you again.
Sorry about that. You hear me? Lance has tried to get put an injunction against the United States Anti-Drug Agency to try and get them to drop all the charges against him, based on the fact that they're largely out of line in a number of directions. But the court, the judge in the case, has said he's seen it as a little bit of a publicity stunt, and he's not going to be part of it with what Lance wants, and therefore he's given him 20 days. If he wants to resubmit it with more facts and less fiction, then they might have another.
All right, Phil, I think what we're going to do
at the moment, everything is moving forward to try and charge Lance with drug-taking offences.
All right, if you hear your phone ringing,
lost you now.
Yeah, no, Phil, I am here. We are here. We're going to get you on the phone. So if you do see your phone ringing, just you can answer. Stay on the pictures as well, because the picture's there, but we seem to be losing your sound connection every now and again. So your phone should be ringing in just a moment. All right. Just while we're doing that, and while we're waiting for your phone to ring, the question that we're going to ask you, which you can answer when you do get the phone call, is there you go. It is ringing now, so we can chat you on the phone, and we'll keep the Skype picture up so we can hear you. You got us there now, loud and clear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. That's a lot better. What does this mean? I mean, what do you read into this decision?
I think it was an attempt by Lance to just stop the investigation, and by doing that, of course, he would. It'll be the end of the case. He's questioning the fact whether a United States drugs agency can investigate into the people they've charged, who are all foreign, and the offences were all committed away from the United States. But the judge seemed to feel that it was a publicity stunt, and he's not going to get involved, as he put it, in getting involved in anything that's really just a matter of issuing a press release to the courts. And so he's thrown it out. He said he'll look at it again in 20 days' time if it's reworded, but for the moment, USADA can carry on with whatever they want to do by bringing Lance Armstrong to answer charges for drug trafficking and drug taking, of course.
And obviously, this all happens while the race for which obviously became one of the biggest names in sport around the world is ongoing, which is pretty sad in a way, because we're watching a Tour de France. There's been one of the most eventful tours that we've seen in many a year. A lot of crashes. We've seen a lot of riders obviously pulling out of the race, but Bradley Wiggins rides on.
Yes, he does. He's come to this tour in the right frame of mind, with all the victories behind him, with a team completely well prepared, and again, everything he's aimed at, he's hit the target on. He wanted to be near the yellow jersey in the first week. He got it in the end, and then, of course, in the time trial, he did an outstanding time trial yesterday. It's the first time that British riders ever won a time trial wearing the yellow jersey, and as a result of that, he's got a clear lead now.
All right, so what does he need to do now from the point of view of the rest day? And you've obviously watched a lot of tours going on from this moment. This is a critical time in the tour. What do you think he needs to do, and what do you think his capacity is to hold on to this lead and go on and win it when they go down the Champs-Elysees?
Well, even though they've also got Chris Froome, who was born in Nairobi, is in the third position, and on the same team as Brad Wiggins, they've said today that there'll be no racing to defend third place. It's strictly all for Bradley Wiggins to win the Tour de France. So anything Chris picks up along the way will almost be by default, by the way the team is talking. it's all for one and it's all for Brad. Now he's got a week and a half to defend that lead, and the roads, as one of the riders said today, the mountains haven't started yet. The big mountains, we have quite a big mountain tomorrow. It's a 17-kilometer climb. It's a mountain the Tour de France has never been over before. It's called the Col de Grand Colombier. And then after that we move on into the Alps themselves, and then eventually a very rough period down in the Pyrenees. So the race, there's a lot of pitfalls along the way, and there's a lot of places where somebody like Cadel Evans could attack Bradley Wiggins. But if they take Bradley Wiggins to the last time trial, the day before the Tour de France ends, with a lead of 2 minutes or more, he's won the Tour. I think if Cadel Evans wants to win the Tour de France, he must go to this last time trial with a lead of 2 minutes over Wiggins, because Wiggins will get that sort of time back in the time trial.
All right, just let's get back to the whole. we hear about this a lot in Formula One, and obviously this is also a factor in cycling as well with the Sky team. What would the discussion have been now, especially today, or maybe even before today, as far as team orders go? So we have two guys in contention. They pretty close. Chris Froome, as I was reading today, also has a chance of actually winning this tour. With the instruction of being given, then right, Brad's got a better chance of actually winning this from his position. So therefore, you will do it in the team interests, and Froome just has to basically go by team orders. It's a very interesting kind of scenario that we sit with going into tomorrow.
Well, it is, because there's no doubt in my mind that Chris Froome has the ability to win a Tour de France of the future. But his deal at the moment with Team Sky is to help Bradley Wiggins win it. Now, we could have a falling out in the next week and a half, because I've got a feeling that Froome is not far short of equal strength to Bradley Wiggins. But the deal is Wiggins is the team leader, and all effort will be for Wiggins to win. Now, the team that's come to this Tour de France, they've raced together all year as a team, although they never announced this is the team for the Tour de France. That is what they were doing. And so these are hand-picked men around Wiggins. Froome is very, very gentlemanly in his responses. When you ask him, he just says, no, I'm here for Bradley Wiggins, and anything I win along the way I'm delighted with, but that's not the intention by the team or by me. It was an opportunist win the other day in the mountains. He was coming up to the finishing line. He sprinted ahead and took the stage win, which was fantastic. In the time trial, he says, you ride as fast as you can. And if that proves to be fast enough to win the day, then so be it. But all of the time he backpedals and says, no, I'm strictly for Bradley Wiggins. Now, if Bradley Wiggins had swung it the other way around in the Tour of Spain last year, then Chris Froome would have been the winner of the Tour of Spain, because he spent his whole Tour of Spain helping Bradley Wiggins stay up there near the leadership. And at the end, Bradley Wiggins cracked wide open, and Froome raced on to finish second overall in the race. But if Wiggins had been responsible enough to say midway through, look, I'm going to crack, we're going to help you, there's no doubt that Chris Froome would have won the Tour of Spain last year. There's always the potential that situation can develop again here.
Does it kind of play nicely into all the talk about an African team for next year's Tour de France? Yes. And maybe having, especially with Chris Froome, if he's not a happiest camper in the Sky team, then joining forces with some of the South African guys in that African team for 2013.
Yes, absolutely. It's all a possibility. Chris is a delightful person, an absolutely honourable man, and he would never say if he was unhappy in the team or not. At the moment, I think he's pretty happy. But, if he hadn't have proved so strong in the Tour of Spain, I honestly think that Team Sky would not have re-signed him this year. And they have, and reached a deal with him, because a lot of teams wanted Chris Froome after last year's Tour of Spain. No, the door is open. I know about the MTM Quebec squad who've got great ambitions one day to ride the Tour de France. And why not? And there's one or two riders now who would qualify to ride on a good, strong All-African team.
Awesome stuff. It's exciting from a African point of view as well. But just sort of casting your mind, looking into your crystal ball, then you've given us the scenario, you've given us the sort of the various permutations, what Cadel Evans needs to do, what Bradley Wiggins needs to do. When they do get to the final day, do you see Bradley Wiggins maybe making up for what Andy Murray couldn't do, and bring a big one back to Blighty?
Well, if it happens, it'll be the first time in the history of the Tour of British Riders ever won it. One more day in yellow, and it'll be the longest reign of a British rider in the yellow jersey as well. I think he's good enough to do it, but he's fragile mentally, and if things start to go wrong, if the weather turns bad, we could get storms in the high mountains in the next 10 days, or if he falls off, or the team doesn't quite react, he gets a little bit tetchy, then he might start to lose his grip on the lead. But so far, he's never looked like doing that. He's never actually looked as though he's been under pressure with the pace. I think it's all going just too well for him, and I think there's another rest day next week as well, and I would expect to see by then Wiggins leading this Tour by probably 2.5 minutes.
All right, awesome. So there we go. That is Phil Liggett. Always nice to catch up with you, Phil. It's a very exciting tour. We're all keeping our eyes peeled for what's going to happen when they're back on the roads again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here today on Ballz Visual Radio.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Phil Liggett.
Bye.
Bye.
The legendary commentator, does commentary every day, giving us his thoughts on rest day today at the Tour de France.
We the best on 3. 1, 2, 3. We the best.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on Ballz.co.za. Ballz.co.za.